for another episode of A Toast to the God Emperor's Light, as I have more adverts come through and nearly deafened me. So yes, this is our Dark Heresy tabletop RPG game, second edition. I think that's pretty much all about the game. Last time, our group had gone to investigate a agri world. I didn't bring up the planet names, and there it is. The planet of Demier, and they were investigating civil unrest, an unknown drug, and one of the group last time went off and did some stealthiness and some observation of a busy pedestrian highway, where he uncovered a minor drug dealer, got some information off him, and has a route to investigate down. The rest of the team, however, went off to do some wine tasting and look at how some of the more rarer goods on the planet are made. As the group got back to the hive, I believe someone was going to send a message to their other party member. And that is where we start off our episode, as you have undocked and left the tourist, I can't remember what we called the place, but you are leaving the tourist departure zone, and you are back in the hive that you left only a few hours ago.
First, we're back.
Oh, good. I have information, location where they might be selling drug, or at least party where drug might be, as well as opportunity for me to possibly get in higher ranking with gang that sells drugs. Also, I figure that at least one of the dealers, their way of selling drug, you give them a hug, is weird.
Oh.
Hug.
Yes, apparently it signifies that you want to buy drugs if you give specific person who looks shady a hug. If they have drug, they will then sell it to you. It's weird, but at least it's not as obvious as selling someone you want to buy drugs from them.
Good work.
Where are you guys? I am interested.
Tourist area, just gotten back
Tourist.
from a tour of the wine place.
Being tourist, really.
Did you find anything interesting?
The seeds that go into that help flavor the wine on their own are hallucinogens.
That is interesting. Think it might be related to the drug?
To a drug, at least.
Okay. I would ask you guys to come to the party with me. The matter of clothing, perhaps. They know what I look like. They think I am some guy. Immediately could tell I was criminal. But also thought I was criminal from this world who previously worked for a higher gang member and now switching teams because good drug mean good business, and I wanted to switch side. Also told him convincing story that I killed previous boss's father and boss was not happy. He believed. But I am not sure if I can, especially not Tech Priest. I apologize, Tech Priest. I like you best of entire group here, but I do not know how I could get you into party.
I'm sure you say that to every tech priest.
We'll do work around elsewhere. Just Alexa's reaching out, stopping Diogenes and wandering off while he stares at his data slate.
Okay, in case you guys do want to stick out the place though, I will tell you exactly where place is. place is in Industrial District Vault 23 underneath a water purification plant, and the door is marked with an Aquila. They were not very original. They literally just used Imperial Aquila as a gang sign.
Out of character, my character would be noting that down, as well as like trying to find out the best directions and any possible hidden paths that have been recorded.
Jenny is probably furious. Yeah, Jenny is furiously noting that down. Everything.
Ghost, did you say it was a vault?
Vault 23, yes.
Jim, looking through my notes, do I have any new info about Vault 23? Because I was looking at the vaults before.
So you were looking at the vaults. Make me an intelligence check to see if that was one of the vaults that you listed down.
Oh god, here it goes.
Oh,
I passed!
So because you were told you can't bring information with you, you can't, you can only take coded information at best, or little scraps, so that anyone who finds your data slate doesn't, see that you've got important information there. So as you go through your notes, you look down and you see that you have marked down that vault. And as you look, you try and see like what number did you give it, or what like abbreviation did you give to it. And you actually put down under it that it's missing. Like it was presumed destroyed during a seismic event, or it appears as if that something happened, an explosion or something damaged the hive, and they just presumed, it was under there, it will be lost. So you have on your data pad, that data slate, that it's not used by the actual hive itself, so they wouldn't know that there was anything going on there.
Apparently that vault is not even on record anymore, at least for the most people, because that vault was lost in a seismic event. That's a pretty good location for you to hide your wares. And possibly have a, criminal base.
They said it's just party, not actual base, but base could be somewhere in that district, but I do not know that. I was also told to speak to a guy called Deadeye. He might have contacts to get me a job. Because the equipment apparently looks expensive enough that they believe they need a very wealthy person to pay for me.
well then, let's do the last parts of what we can do. What time is it? I forget. Because it's been a week.
It's late.
Very late. Party's tomorrow, as far as I'm
You're
aware.
probably talking like 7, 8 o'clock. So technically you could go and see if there's anything happening now. But you have all spent a long day looking through. What have you done? You went and found accommodation. You did some investigating. So it's still your first night on this planet. So you're probably all quite tired, I imagine.
I spent 2 hours, got them hanging from something I don't know anywhere. So yeah, Ghost is not up to doing anything unless it involves killing someone, but nobody wants to kill anyone, so not gonna happen. That, and he still needs to figure out how to get the Vault 23, and the party is tomorrow, so yeah.
We'll rest, continue our work tomorrow. Let's go.
Okay. Also, note of attention, I took bottom bunk in one of bits. Mine. And I put it bike weight.
Oh, good. You keep an eye on Diogenes then.
Who's keeping an eye on Diogenes?
Ghost. Let's go. So I think we go to bed.
Is anyone besides the one talking?
No.
No.
By all
I'm sorry,
means, you
Discord
you
was-
can regroup back at your accommodation, and you can rest up for the evening.
I assume the manager did not get back to me about that lift.
Not as of yet, I'm afraid.
Ungrateful sod.
You all awake in the morning, possibly different times, possibly around the same time, but some of you head downstairs to get breakfast, considering you have paid for breakfast. Others mill about and perhaps wash their face or just have a cup of recaf.
So we regained a fate because new session.
Yes, you regain a fate because of new session. You don't regain fate when you sleep. In between missions, you will get a refresh.
Okay.
Or if I
And
think
what-
I'm about to kill you, then you might get a refresh as well.
And when this does, like, I'm going to make you roll 50 times, and none of those rolls actually mattered in the slightest.
Mhm.
Because I was rolling to see if you fucked up majorly.
I go get a cup of recaf, and then I go separate myself from everyone. I take a little vial out of my pockets. I pop open the vial, drip one drip in coffee, close the vial again, put it away again, start drinking the coffee or recaf.
You're fucking disgusting, dude.
Can you make me a willpower test, please?
Corruption.
We have a Khajiit fucking vampire.
Doesn't really sound like it.
So,
Just
as you
fucked up
fail, you gain 1 insanity, because I think doing something like that, your sanity is slowly dripping away.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah, as if it was ever there.
But I
As
thought it
if
was
it was ever
corruption.
there.
Oh, you know what's worse? I think if you're just keeping it in your pocket and it's not actually a sealed and prepared environment, that blood is probably congealated at this point. So you're thinking, it's like,
Oh
how
no,
do I
no,
put
it's
this?
warm. It's warm, therefore it's liquid still.
It still can coagulate.
I imagine he gives it a little shake to kind of like break up that skin that's formed on the top.
It's probably
People,
gonna
I'm
be
trying to
disgusting.
eat cheese here.
Because it's a full
That's your
vial,
problem.
it's also the more liquid you have, the harder it is for it to actually turn like hard. Especially if you keep it warm. And I keep
And-
it close to my skin.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks now. Even if it wasn't 2 weeks.
Okay, if that's the case, and if it's just all coagulated, I would have thrown it out. I will keep it under the condition that it's still all liquid.
Yeah, we'll
I'm going
assume
to
it's...
say that through the science of 40k, that you have either stolen some fluids to help with the word was on the tip of my tongue and then it
So
disappeared.
what you're saying is he is praying to the vial.
No, he's
He
added.
said science
he's
of
added
40k. This is science of 40k.
Well, he can add. Technically, he could add some anticoagulants,
Anticoagulants?
and that would keep it kind
I mean,
of fresh.
also,
It-
you can take if you have like a blood bag, it sits there in a cold environment and doesn't harden.
So I'm going to say that the
Because
blood
of
is
the
still
plasma.
liquid, and you still gain
Also-
one insanity from that.
Okay, that is going to be quite difficult because I was going to say I would have been doing this for the past 2 weeks.
Corruption!
No, you wouldn't get corrupted from that, but I will probably say you roll a 1d4 and you'll gain that much insanity from doing something like that for 2 weeks.
I mean, technically, it's one of the malignancies is just like having blood.
Congratulations. You now have 5
So is it
insanity.
now?
No,
Five
no,
insanity
no.
or
It's
four
just 4.
insanity?
It's just 4. It's the 1d4 for those 2 weeks of you doing this little ritual.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to go down to the bar to actually get a cup of recaf. In this, like, think of it as a block of flats, basically. Probably one of the largest that you could ever imagine. Every 5 floors, there's a recaf machine. It's pretty crappy recaf, but the fact that you've got a room here means that you can get it for free. So yeah.
For free? Well, that's a hotel and a half.
You paid for a decent district, so you didn't go with the poorest place.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna have to restart Discord because it keeps cutting you guys out.
No. So as Ghost enjoys his recaf and iron, what would the rest of you be doing with your mornings?
I don't know, having friendly chit chat with people.
Hello?
Hello.
Well,
Hopefully it'll be better.
I mean, it'd been like preparing to go out again.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say that you've all woken up, had an hour to kind of sort yourselves out, and you've all met downstairs at different times to eat your breakfast and go over what your plan is for today.
I mean, going over the plan would have been done in our room, so that way we can't be overheard by random strangers.
Sure.
We're being subtle.
You caught me out.
Hey, I'm not smart, but I'm sororitas. I know how stupid it is to talk about your plans in public.
So technically, all of your characters are not bound to your characteristics. That's why you're player characters. So even if your intelligence is low, you can still be smart because you're not an NPC.
I'm not gonna play like I'm a dumb shit, but I'm still not smart. There is no way in hell my character will be smart.
By all means, you wouldn't necessarily be academic smart. That kind of like pulling out numbers and
I'm perceptive.
yeah. You've got you're socially smart because you've got good fellowship. So
Well, I'm academically smart. I've got
And you're all
numbers
you're
for
all player
days,
characters.
Mechanicus style.
I'm academically smarter.
Anyway,
oh.
so then I think the general plan will be Bobdrick Glen goes out and finds where the little party is so he can go attend the party, and we continue having our look around trying to get more intel on what's going on. Possibly going to some places near where there's been unrest and asking around about that. Or at least that's what Alexa can do, because she's got fellowship skills.
Okay. If Miss
Would
Jenny,
there be any public knowledge about this gang?
not about the what?
There's a public misinformation campaign coming out of the Ecclesiarchy at the moment, Duca.
Yeah, essentially all
God damn
the
it.
all the pick feeds that you have access to that kind of show you the world news and the nonsense for today. you almost see nothing about civil unrest or about.
What's the thought of the day?
Damn it, I'm going to have to come up with a thought of the day now.
The Emperor is better than yours.
The sweat of your brow keeps the emperor lubricated. Work harder.
The fuck?
Emperor is into
It's
some weird shit,
sufficiently
man.
40k though. I mean, if you associate working hard and donating the sweat of your work to the Emperor, then you're not donating that sweat to Slanesh.
Wait, I have some.
But you have some sweat.
A logical argument must be dismissed with absolute conviction. Yeah, that sounds 40k enough.
Maybe for a Forge World, not for these country bumpkins. Damn it! I had a thought of something. and
A
I
small
can't.
mind is a tidy mind.
I mean, in all fairness, you can just use the divinations.
No. I had a thought of what someone said earlier, not about the thought of the day. I can't remember. I lost my train of thought.
Accept your lot.
An open mind is a mind open to heresy.
Thought begets heresy. Heresy begets retribution.
All our ignorances bring it. No. Oh,
Um,
praise the Emperor.
A mind without purpose wanders in dark places.
An empty mind is a loyal mind.
How'd you make that sound good though? That's the whole point of it.
Oh no, it actually makes sense in the context of 40k. Don't ask questions. You are loyal. Like, ignorance is a wisdom of its own. You don't need to learn to be better.
Idle hands equals heresy. Work harder, drone.
Only in death does duty end. Unless, if you work your hardest, you won't have to be a servitor when you die.
So back onto the adventure at hand. I still can't
There was
remember
an
what I was. Oh yeah, so Diogenes. You haven't heard about any
Aye.
civil unrest from the people themselves. Last time, I'll probably say, Alexa, you would have passed on the information you got from the barman to the group at one point yesterday.
I passed it along, like, in a subtle way at the table. I remember when I got
Okay.
back. But Diogenes wasn't paying attention, so when we're talking in the morning, it gets passed along properly. Because
Okay.
Diogenes was like having his food and reading at the same time.
So, Diogenes, you would know that the barman, I believe it was a few days or perhaps a week ago, heard a large explosion somewhere down the road. On the pick feed, they said that it was a accident, that some machine had malfunctioned. But I believe, I can't remember if Jenny did a logic check last time to try and work out where the civil unrest was in
I
relation
don't
to
think
your
I
map.
did that
I can do a
test.
logic test.
No, Jenny now has access to the Hive's map from the Mechanicus's maintenance network.
Although, I think I did something with logic and map, but I
You
don't.
tried and failed. Like, you couldn't map it properly. You could
Ah,
put general
yeah.
areas, but
Quite
it was-
possibly.
you didn't get like
I mean,
exact.
if I can reattempt the test.
Yes,
I
no,
will.
I was going to say you can, in the morning, you can have another think about this. So if you want to give me another logic with a +10.
That's without the +10.
So, Diogenes, you
Also with valid
think
+10.
to yourself about where the civil unrest is, and you try and locate it from your knowledge that you have about the Hive. Unfortunately, you don't have a map, so you don't know exactly where the locations are. Hives are notorious for having really poor maps built of them, especially the further down you go. So whilst you can place a couple of places in like the mid-hive where you are now, you could probably place one riot that happened in the main artisan district in this middle hive. That's the only one you can really like verify. Yeah, that's got to be the location, because you're only going off of the information, not actually it's not actually a map. Miss Jenny, as you kind of close your eyes, connect to the Mechanicus's network, and see the layout of the hive and
Fucking
the
hell,
areas of
Discord.
maintenance that are needed, you soon are very quick to locate that maintenance has been done in a respect of damage has been sustained to buildings, and you could look at the maintenance logs and see where your brother Mechanicus had been sent out, and what kind of damage and what kind of weapons, and you can pinpoint at least 6 areas in the middle hive where we are now, where you are now. You could probably detect another 15 in the lower hive. And the reasons you can detect these is that when you look at the maintenance records, you can see that your brothers had been sent down into the lower hives for structural repairs. Like, they had actually used explosives in an area with rioting, and one of the main electrical, not electrical, one of the main steam, I can't remember what the word was going to be now. One of the machine spirits had been damaged along a structural power conduit. That there are many of them, but they're used to send power all the way through the hive. And unfortunately, they do go through the lower hive area. This is probably one of the only times when the Mechanicus will really give a fuck about the lower parts of the hive. And you quickly determine that somehow these underhivers had managed to cause enough damage to where the planet's PDF actually moved in a garrison to ensure that the Mechanicus could get enough machinery and materials down there to repair the area.
Mechanicus are done with that bullshit.
Did you catch most of that?
Most of that, yeah.
But you would also note in the middle hive, it's only been surface like damage. There had been no major uses of explosives. There's been no major damage sustained to the middle hive. It's mainly just damage to glass panels and damage to signs indicating different, blessings of the day and rites.
Okay.
Once we know where like these things generally are, I'll disguise myself so that like I'll walk a sensible distance away, then make a disguise out of the way, and like go and do like ask questions, do some eavesdropping, find out what's going on in that kind of area.
So you want to make a disguise. You don't technically have any materials with you. You have a small amount of thrones. I would probably say you are near a marketplace, like a small ghetto marketplace. I would probably say that for half of your remaining money, you would be able to get yourself some basic civilian clothes. But it would be basic, basic, so no fanciness, no fineries on them.
Well, I've already had that already. Because
well, no, technically you have your clothes, which your armor goes on top, or your uniform.
I'm not trying to like make really like I'm not trying to make a great disguise. I'm literally just trying to be. If somebody looks at me and then sees me walking around in my uniform, they're not immediately going to go, "Oh yeah, this is so so so." But I could use the filth when I'm walking down in the lower hives to do this. If the disguise is going to cost me money, well, we kind of need the money for later.
Well, so the issue is currently as players, these are your clothes that you have. Everything that you had when you were last with your last organisation. So all of your clothes are sororitas. No, if you take off all your armour, your uniform is sororitas. If you take off your uniform, your bra and knickers are sororitas. You know, they're same with if you're in the militarum or if you're in the Astra telepathica. You don't have normal civilian clothes. You would normally, requisition them or ask Walter for them. So you can take your armor off and walk around as a normal sorority. You wouldn't be
The thing that's not on the planet.
No, there is a small. Like I
Yeah,
said,
but they've
a
got no
very
reason
small.
to go down there.
And well, you're also rogue traders, so you do have that to what that's your cover for being down on the planet. If you wanted normal civilian clothes, yeah, you would need to buy them.
Never mind then. Guess I'm just gonna try and do subtle inquiring because there's no way we can actually afford me buying stuff when we might need the thrones later.
I mean, technically, your accommodation and food and everything are paid for.
What if we have to buy the wine?
No, you've got a writ for that.
Okay,
you've
then
got an audit of receipt.
Okay, then I'll. Unfortunately, half of my crowns is a nightmare to do, so can I use 10 because I've got 25?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then when I need to roll against the disguise, it's rolled with whatever.
It'd be with a +10 because you've got an actual clothing that covers up and it doesn't have any heraldry on it. When you put that clothing on, you are one of the hive members of the hive civilians essentially.
But yeah, it's just because disguise to fool a stranger is a +30. But yeah, I can go do my inquiries when we get round to it. If anyone wants to do anything before I roll inquiry and try and find out about the situation. Certainly while looking like I belong.
Sure.
So, is anyone doing anything or should I just roll inquiry?
Would I be able to hack into some sort of a terminal to get into this information I might not otherwise be able to?
You mean break into Mechanicus
so-
Cogitator?
Not in the building that you are in at the moment. There are no cogitators here. You would have to actually go and look for an area of some importance. So the hangar area, for example, would have a cogitator. You'd have to try and sneak past the people who are guarding that area, the work hands and employees and such. It would probably take you quite a long time to just look around and try and find one. You could attempt to go to the hive's chronicalarium and try and blag your way in there to try and look at their data records. You could try and go and find the actual area where they do transactions for goods on the planet and see if there's a cogitator there that you could attempt to get information from, but that would have a lot more people surrounding it.
I think I'll try and blog my way in.
Do you even have a social skill?
No.
God damn it. That means he's gonna get it.
Okay. So where would you like to try and go? Because I will give it to you are kind of, at the moment you have kind of been led around by the group. So for you to actually sneak away from the group would probably be more difficult than like how Ghost did it. there is an active member of the party who has been kind of shepherding you around.
Stopping you from walking into walls.
Yeah. So how would you like to go about this? How would you, are you staying with the group but, going to slip off later on, or...
Do you remember earlier when I put into the chat that I forgot to go have food?
He's gonna go claim he's gonna have food.
Would my stomach ever growl after that?
Also, I'm not around to shepherd him around while I'm doing my inquiries. See, he can slip off then. And I'm the
Would-
one corralling him.
Would my stomach growl then? Because no one else really knows my character, or no one else's character ever.
I mean, we did pick up on the fact that Alexa is pretty much bound to you.
Roll a 1d100. You've got a 25% chance of your stomach growling. So a 1 in 4 chance of your stomach growling when you need it to
Okay,
growl.
so GM, I must ask something.
Sure. Your stomach growls when you need it to. Cocky kid.
Okay, can I try to figure out where Vault 23 would have been? Or where it is?
So
From any maps or from my
you
party
have-
members or anything?
the only person who currently has a usable map is your tech priest friend.
Lovely.
If you want
I
it
will go ask her.
easier. Okay, sure.
It's a bit like when I go do my inquiries, I've had the tech priest tell me, where do I need to go for this?
Deny. I have a question.
Yes.
Does your map tell you where Vault 23 is?
Can I check?
So, you would... Where are you talking about this? And Miss Amanda, how far away are you from this conversation? Miss Amanda?
Sorry?
Jim, stop
Sorry.
arguing with me on the other Discord and answer.
Sorry, yes. Where am I? I'm probably near the rest of the group. I'm usually just bodyguarding someone because Amanda's not socially adept, so she's just, following people around and protecting them.
Okay. If you're kind of being the bodyguard to the group, I would probably say that you heard something about the location of vaults. Did you want to add in?
I'm sorry, did I want... could you repeat that, please?
But you've just heard
You-
something about the location of vaults.
I did, I
We need
didn't.
to find the
Didn't I?
water.
So you
I
just
do-
heard two of your party members, one of your party members bring up the subject of the location of vaults. Would you chime into that conversation?
Yeah. We should probably go investigate the vaults. The vaults have been, so far as I checked, the best location for a gang to be located in. Besides, Vault 23 seems like a pretty big, contender for their location of the gang. Even if it is, and they do have, the drugs there, we could check it out.
So I will help out here. Ghost, as you ask Jenny if she knows the location of any vaults in this hive, Jenny kind of looks up as if she's thinking when Miss Amanda turns round and says, I actually looked up vaults whilst we were on the ship. What did you want to know? As Ghost mentions that he's looking for a particular one, Miss Amanda, you can now reference the fact that you know of that vault and it was lost.
Yeah. I think I had already told this to the party, hadn't I? About Vault 23?
Yep, you had.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
why I
ever
was
told
confused.
that, that
But you
would
didn't
be
tell us
outdated
you knew
state.
the actual location. Like you told us it
I
was
didn't. I didn't know I knew the location. Just sorry, then.
However, as you as a group talk and listen to each other, you hear that Ghost has described it as being near the water purification facility. As you remember about seismic disturbances, and you mentioned this. Jenny brings up that there have never been seismic activity on this planet, but there were explosions a few months ago. You soon piece together the information, and looking at the vault locations that are remaining, that the Mechanicus has actually used to store materials. Miss Jenny, you very quickly pinpoint the location of a vault that was lost underneath the secondary water purifier for this hive city.
Okay. Shit. So I guess I'll point Ghost there.
You also point me off to near where the explosions were.
Sure.
Miss Alexa, you would know
You want me to accompany you again?
the explosions happened in the underhive. In the lower hive, the rioting happened in the mid-hive.
Then I'll do the mid-hive one first. 'Cause I don't need as disgusting a disguise, so I can reuse my current disguise, just make it look worse. So yeah, first I'll look into the rioting. Should I roll my inquiry?
Sure. You get pointed by your tech priest friend.
Take that.
One of the main thoroughfares for people who are not technically coming or going. This is an area where, you know, there's a few small bars, and there's a few areas where people can get some sort of ration on a stick, or a drink, or it's a little area where people seem to gather, and you go there hoping that, you know, people will have a bit of time, they're not so rushed, and you begin asking questions, but it appears as if the subject that you're
Time's all wrong.
talking
I'm not
about
the right people.
is no, it just seems that these people don't really want to talk about this. You maybe get the feeling that these are more emperor fearing citizens, and where the pick feeds have been saying that, you know, it was no such thing, doesn't exist, that they kind of are brainwashed to that degree where there is no civil unrest. But you can see it in their eyes as someone who's been around those who are indoctrinated heavily.
I'm just thinking, around those, you mean me? I am indoctrinated heavily.
Well, no, so you are all player characters, so you have the ability to think like an NPC. Adeptus Cerritus would act very differently to how
But,
you
like,
all act. So
Still, actual backstory-wise, I am still really heavily indoctrinated. Because my power is I'm indoctrinated so much I'm immune to corruption. My soul itself is indoctrinated. It's that fuck deep. I mean, I might be a player character, and that might mean I'm able to think beyond my indoctrination. I'm still indoctrinated. But yeah, I guess I give it a bit before trying again.
sure.
Should I roll again?
Sure. And Ghost, if you really wanted to, you probably could stealth up and follow your ally, just to try and, you know, make sure nothing happens to them. It is up to you. So Alexa, as you start moving further in along this street, this palisade area, you look around a little bit harder, trying to notice the people who you've just spoken to and try and find individuals opposite to them. And you find a group who, they're not massively obvious, but they seem to like have a bit more of a conspiratorial attitude around them. Like you can see them leaning in and talking rather than stood openly and letting everyone hear what they have to say.
Rather than like going up to them asking questions, like I do the subtle eavesdropping thing, where it's like you sit nearby.
You're inquiring, so you're going up to people.
Inquiry
and...
includes eavesdropping. It's by asking questions or literally just eavesdropping.
I mean, I would probably say you would need to actually say that. Like, I've been going about you're going up to people. Oh, hi there, citizen. You know how are things going here? And
I have been trying to do like the whole full use of inquiry. Like I'm not just like talking to people, because there's people who don't want to talk to you, but they might have a conversation with someone else, and you sit nearby, listen quietly, and you might actually hear something, you might not. Because otherwise, you might go bother a gang member when really, bothering the gang member means he doesn't have the conversation you want.
So what I'll go with that for now. In the future, you will have to let me know how you're doing it, because I don't like these. Oh, it's a catch-all, you know, because that really screws up any kind of impromptu storytelling that the GM's trying to. So in the future, you will need to say, I'm questioning people politely, or I'm eavesdropping, and doing it that way, because it changes how I tell the story and how I like tell events. Otherwise, it's just a rolling simulator.
It's just sometimes like some of your storytelling's like, why am I going up to the gang member and literally talking to him when I'd be getting more info by sitting nearby?
Because you don't describe your actions. You know that you have. That's what I mean by you need to say, I'm going to use inquiry to stealthily move around the area and listen in, and then I'll incorporate stealth and inquiry and have it play. I'm playing off as you're a charismatic. You're the face. You've got, you know, you can roll charm. You can, you know, go up to people as a face rather than use inquiry in a stealth. You know, it changes how the story would be told. In other words, so you choose. So,
I will talk to them, see how we're going to go. It's just in the future, like when it makes more sense to sit nearby, I prefer to be sat nearby. But when it doesn't, like I will just go.
You need as a player, you need to mention that. That's not on me as a GM to. If you leave it open to interpretation, then that gives me the ability to see it how I see it. If you be specific with your language and I want to do this way of inquiring, or I can't be expected to read your mind through the ether. Apologies.
And I can't be expected to know the situation. Like, I don't even know where I'm going at this point, where I'm getting my inquiries. Which is why I'm like trying to use it as the catch-all. I do everything that's inquiry, like different times. Because then it makes sense. Like when you want to go ask it, you don't just walk up to random people. You talk to them. And then you don't talk to them when they don't want to talk, and you just listen.
Well, no, it's like, so if you've ever been a tourist in another country, and you want to know, you know, where the dangerous areas are, where the, you know, don't go to here, you have to go up to people and chat to them, and hey, how are you doing? You know, I'm new to town, and I just want to know, you know, where's good to eat, or where are the good clubs, or that's how I've been running you as a face, because you've never tried to be as stealthy. You know, I sneak around and listen. I mean, if you mention that next time, then I can story tell it that way.
Just like right now, I'm trying to be subtle. Let's get back to it though.
So you see this group of people who have a conspiratorial feel to them. So you, noticing this, you go to walk over to their area, like where the food that they're eating and the drink that they're drinking is. And you go, I mean, how are you going to approach this group? How are you going to order some food? Are you going to perhaps start up a conversation with someone else, or
hang on a sec, where are they? Because I was having a moment of zoning out.
So
Sorry.
the way this area works is it's like a promenade. There's a big walkway of people coming up and down, and at the sides of this walkway there's like little standing bars where people are doing small walking food on skewers, and people are having a quick drink, in some cases maybe possibly alcoholic, and it's an area where people are congregating before moving on either home or to their workplace. And you're walking round to the group that are like look a little bit sketchy, a little bit conspiratory. They're whispering to each other and leaning in for their conversations.
Guess I'd like have a drink and sit nearby, just having the drink like out of the way, not having little conversations as necessary to look like I fit.
Okay, so there aren't any areas to sit, but as you go over to the bar, you ask the barman for just something light, just something to hydrate yourself, and he agrees, and he for like half a throne, he gets you a drink, and you just ask him like how's business, and he engages in a little bit of just mindless chit chat, and you lean against the bar area, and you kind of zone out to him. You're asking questions that are just yes no kind of answered questions. Can you give me an awareness test as you try to listen into the group to the side of you?
Awareness perception.
Yes. Unfortunately, as you try to listen in without giving yourself away, the noise of the people walking round and talking and eating and drinking, and the barman actually seems as if you've been unlucky, and this barman's actually quite animated, and he's talking quite loudly, and you can't quite hear into their conversation. The way you're doing it.
The skill itself's not working.
Well,
I'm just trying to think, what can I do? Because if I go straight up to them, I don't know if my disguise would. Actually, I'm in disguise. I could go up to them. Go up to them, be quite charming and nice, and try and just find out what's going on in the area. I don't know.
By all means, you would probably you're just leaning against the bar, listening to what the barman's saying, kind of glancing over. Perhaps you turn around and take in the whole view behind you and look at all the bars and all the people, and you get sideways looks, quick glances at the group, and they don't look. They're not criminals. You can see some of them are in work uniforms, and some of them are in Mechanicus, not Mechanicus robes. These are clearly civilians, but they've been given overalls to signify, they work in this area of what would it be? Like a factory, essentially, where they're just like processing the grains and packing them up, and you can see that one of them definitely looks like he's a dockhand, because you've seen loads of people on this planet around the docks working with unloading spaceships, and you can see clearly that he's a dockhand. So they're not. You definitely don't look at them and think, "Wow, these are criminals."
I'll go over, be like generally charming. As a player, I don't actually know what to say. I've just had a moment where my brain's forgotten what I was doing.
Okay, so by all means, you're at the bar. You've got a drink in your hand.
I was asking around about the civil unrest, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what you were. You were like looking for someone who could give you that information.
Yeah, I guess after a little while I go up to them, actual charming, discreetly steer the conversation so that they can tell me about this civil unrest that's going on. Like, make it seem like, oh, I'm just from another part of the hive and I heard about this recently and thought I'd find out because I've got family in the area and they haven't got in contact with me, yada yada yada. Because hives are huge, so me not being in contact with some family that lives up here isn't uncheckable, but at the same time, it'd be really hard to check.
So I would probably recommend, like, you've got information about where civil unrest happened, so you could easily say, oh, I'm from this area, did you hear about this? Why wasn't it on the pick feed? You could...
It's like, I do carefully steer the conversation, so it's like, what's going on with this? I'm from the area, but the pick feed says this didn't happen. What's going on?
Give me a charm roll as you come over and as you introduce yourself.
I'll fate that.
So close.
Okay, so as you come up to the group and you give them a big smile and kind of introduce yourself as your alias, and you say, like, this happened in my area. Why wasn't it on the pic? I've had to move because my area got, my apartment got destroyed, or my, workplace is closed for a while, and a couple of the group kind of like they turn their backs from the conversation and they start looking around, and you get an odd kind of a feeling in your guts as this happens. Like the air visibly gets a little bit more tense as one of the men like pulls close. Yeah, I've heard of many things like this. My neighbour was telling me that his brother-in-law got injured in one of these riots, but it weren't on the pick feed. There was nothing said of no. And another one pulls in and, I know, every time you think something happens, or every time somewhere closes down for a bit, all of a sudden, the pick feed say everything's fine. Or in fact, that there's been like some accident. And I've never seen a single machine have an accident. It's the God Emperor would not allow it, and they all have stories about someone they know. It doesn't appear as if any of them have been directly involved, but they all have stories that are all kind of in the same way related, in that how it starts off as, it seems to start off as a couple of people who are a little bit zoned out, and then a few more people who are zoned out, and there always seems to be a few key rabble risers, who are there shouting out about how they're oppressed and how they should be given more rights, and all the men, and probably a couple of women as well, who are there. They all kind of like say how good they've got it, and how they've heard about hives where they have no free time and they are literally worked until they people die.
Mechanicus hive.
Kind of. And it always seems to come back to the same kind of information, that that it always seems to start with a few zoned out people and a few more zoned out people, and they seem to congregate, and then a few rabble rousers in the actual crowd begin throwing stones and starting to cause problems, and then it's always once someone tries to stop them, once someone does something, that's when people start getting violent. That's when they'll be there and, well, you see, there was this one fella who told me that he saw all these people on the streets, and they were kind of wandering aimlessly about and not really doing anything. And then there was a few guys who came in, and he said that they were saying that the God Emperor didn't care, and that he didn't love us anymore, and we were forsaken, and all this nonsense. They all turn around and, oh, nonsense, nonsense. God Emperor loves us, blah blah blah. And he turns around, but then as soon as the PDF came in, they grabbed hold of. He told me that they grabbed hold of this zoned out dude and came in with a club. And as soon as that's happened, everything's blown up. Bottles, but Molotovs. You're talking about improvised weapons. A couple of PDF were killed and a lot were injured. And the story seems that they all nod their heads and say, that's what I heard. And yeah, my uncle and my brother-in-law and that nosy hag down the street, they all seem to have stories along the same line.
Guess I hang out with them for a little bit, and then after a while I break off, because I've got the information I think I can get from here without arousing too much suspicion. So just quietly slip off, change out my disguise when I'm out of view, go back. And then once I get back and I meet up with everyone again, I discreetly inform them what I found out. About how it starts off as just a bunch of drugged out people kind of standing in a crowd, and then some people turn it into an angry rabble, and then another person escalates to be violent, and then suddenly the rabble explodes into an angry mob. And there's people who seem to be claiming the Emperor is not doing the right thing. The Emperor's not giving them enough rights. Internally, she's what the hell is wrong with these people? They have more rights than me, and they want more. What are they talking about? If Diogenes hasn't already gotten back, she's just thinking, what? Where's Diogenes?
You think this could be because some shadowy forces are trying to destabilize this otherwise peaceful planet and protected planet in order to prepare ground for an invasion, maybe?
Oh, that seems a bit far-fetched.
There'd be more structural damage and mass instability.
Yes, but couldn't this mean we just got here in the beginning?
So, about my character being hungry.
Sure. It turns out that as you come down, how should we play this? As you begin looking around and you're checking about if your handler is around, you look around and you search your bedroom, well, your domicile. You go down to the bar and you see a few of your war band, I suppose, sitting around, milling around. You don't see your handler anywhere. You quickly go outside. She's not there either. Your stomach rumbles. You can do what you want.
So, I guess I'm going to the library. Or the Chronicalarium, I think it's called.
Okay, there are libraries on this world. They would be in the upper hive. I don't think they would be... I suppose, no, there probably would be a small, crappy library in the mid-hive, because there are artisans and the such.
What's the place where information's kept. It is the Chroniclarium,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, you can go there. The Chroniclarium is far more. It's restricted in a way because not everyone's allowed to go there. You would need to give a good reason as to why, or
What
what
about-
information you wanted.
Being Adeptus Administrorum.
Sure.
He's administratum.
If you wanted to blag that, by all means, you can attempt it.
Also, is it public information who like the head Administrorum person is on this planet? Is that something I'd be able to figure out and just be like, oh yeah, I've been sent this person's.
I'm
requested
trying to
it in order
think
to
about
fix
how
blah, blah.
likely it would be that someone would have him assassinated.
He'd be a heavy guard either way.
Yeah, I suppose it probably would be, if not public information, you would be able to get that information just from if you went to to the area where the administratum was active in. You'd probably overhear it. Someone claiming that he did something great, or someone saying, one day I'll be at this rank, or what have you. So yeah, I would probably say that you can get his name quite easily.
Yay! Okay then. Does anyone try and stop me from just entering then, or?
So I would probably say you have a couple of options. You can get there by either paying for we'll say a civilian aircraft to take you to so it flies above the squalor of the people, or you can walk there and it will take you about an hour because you've got to ask questions about where. And I imagine you would ask other administratum personnel.
I'll walk.
Okay. So, how many roll? Okay. So, you find yourself at the administratum's base of operation in this hive. A very large cylindrical building. Which has for how tightly packed hives are, there is a very large road that goes around this building. It almost looks like a cordoning off zone, that if this building were to ever come under siege, this area is strategically useful for putting up barricades and fortifications. You make your way towards the building. Do you have any armour on?
I think he has his robes,
I think I would, yeah.
because I don't know if he has any armor other than Imperial robes.
I have Imperial robes.
Okay. So you make your way towards the administratum building, and you see that there are 4 guards, 2 on either side of the door. They're in to be honest with you, it's just Imperial Guard armor. It's nothing that impressive. However, you look at some of the PDF forces and they don't have Imperial Guard armor, so actually compared to the PDF, they're pretty well equipped. As you approach, 2 of them actually open the doors so that you may enter, whilst 2 of them carry on watching. You enter the building and you see that there is a large reception room with a very plain desk at this front entrance area, and there is a person, there's another administratum personnel at that desk, and she is sat on a cogite unit typing information into it. And she doesn't even look up. She obviously feels the pressure change, or the wind breeze come in, or the stale air from outside seep in. How may I help you?
Big ass noise.
What is your business here today?
I'll just sort of like start walking towards wherever I think an entrance to the library might be and see if she reacts.
Oh, she's
Like,
already
keeping
reacted.
an eye on her.
She's already reacted. Sorry.
Yeah, see if she reacts further. Sorry.
Sir, please do not walk away from me, or I will have the guards stop you. What are you doing here today?
I was here to collect information and I name drop.
Oh, I see. She types on her Cognite unit. There is no official notification that you would be accessing the Chronicalarium today.
There's no official announcement about certain events that are happening recently either, but they're happening. And there's a reason they're not official. Just like this situation. And then I keep walking.
But at the moment, I have not given you permission to leave. Whilst you are very true on that fact, you will not be entering
All my facts are very
unless
true, I'll have you know.
sign in. You would have known that, Diogenes, that you always sign yourself in. The only reason you didn't on the Forge World was because the Mechanicus member signed you in.
Okay, I reckon that just walking past it then, I'll just sort of like walk up to the desk and just sort of be like, kind of like, okay, let's get this over and like have my hand out for where I need to sign in.
She hands, as you walk over, she's still typing one-handed on her Cognite unit, and with the other hand she places a data slate on the counter. If you...
Wouldn't it be more efficient to just leave that there?
Ah.
While I'm typing.
I need to hand it off to my my boss. It doesn't stay with me.
But you have one behind the desk, so people.
No,
wave my hand
this
and
is
finish signing in.
No. This is for my work, and she holds up another another data slate, which has reports on it, and she appears to be actually typing up reports onto the Cognite unit to be stored in the
I'll put my actual name as well, but instead of my last name, I'll just put Mick Young.
Okay. So she takes the data slate off you and she looks at it, and you don't need to roll. You're administrative. You know how to fill out these paperworks. Okay. Very well. You have access to amber level clearance. You would know amber is low level clearance. By all means.
Yeah. I was sent here for unofficially for unimportant information. Thanks. And then I stand there just waiting for a few more minutes.
She is going to roll 61. No, she doesn't get it. She carries on typing and she pays you very little mind.
I'll just sort of walk away going, the wood on this planet shit anyway. Hopefully she doesn't pass an awareness and hear me.
I'll say a -10, so she's got a 40% chance. Ooh, 37% chance. So what did you say? The wood on this planet, or the water, or the
wood?
The wood. Does she really care? Not really. So she hears you, and a little smile comes up on her face. She's quite low ranking, as it is. You know, she's clearly doing like 2 jobs, possibly 3 jobs at once. So
No, she's one of those people.
well, yeah, she's like the receptionist. She's working reception. She's typing up reports for storage for later. She's probably answering comms at the same time.
Just how understaffed is this administration? They don't have 50 layers of bureaucracy just to make the coffee.
Look, no matter how many layers of bureaucracy they have, Administratum is always understaffed.
It's kind of
thought they
like
were-
this world has. For all you know that they may not have many visitors, so the idea of them having just a receptionist was kind of a waste. So they were like, look, you can't just sit there all day answering the occasional phone call and greeting the occasional person. You must work for the Emperor. Sweat. So yes, Diogenes, you have access to one of the Chronicalarium's cognate units.
Does she have a name badge, by the way?
Beth.
Can I write down her full name on my data sheet, or does she not have one?
Beth Chonga.
Okay. She'll just sort of see me like look at her badge and then make a note on my fancy ass data slate, and then just go, okay, bye then. After a couple of minutes of waiting,
Sure.
can I roll intimidation for that? Hi, this high-ranking official sent me an unofficial business. I'll take your name down because I don't like you.
Yeah, that won't do anything. In all fairness, it could be you've put you could take that a lot of different ways.
By all means, you can, but you're not really like getting anything out of it. You're trying to intimidate her for intimidation's sake. So you can, but I don't know what you're trying to get out of it.
I was gonna say either way, it's like it takes her name down, but it could be literally she's done her job properly.
I'm just being like, more information, please.
Like you could be writing her name down because she's doing her job properly, and you want her commended.
God damn it.
It's only so far you can push these dice rolls.
She's kind of just sat there typing, like nonchalantly. She doesn't even really notice the fact that you've tried to intimidate her. She had a little smile on her face to be like, yeah, I don't like wood either. Nature sucks. That's why I'm indoors. And carried on typing and just lost herself in her work.
Okay, then it's time to read.
So sure. So you go up to the cognate unit. There's no one else around that you can see at the moment. You can roll a awareness perception if you want to have a good look around. But by all means, you can go up to a cognate unit and what information are you looking for? Firstly, because that will tell me like how high a ladder you're trying to climb.
Wait, so is the higher ranking information guarded then or not? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. All information is guarded. You have, amber level. You can look at mundane stuff, shipping reports, anything that's
Do I
not.
get like a little badge then to see that or not?
No, you're at a cognate unit, and it's been, you were told use this cognate unit. You went to that one, and you have access to it. If you want to try and tech use the thing to try and like bypass, you're allowed to.
Whoa!
This guy.
Knowledge.
So you remember long ago when you were working on, well, where you were beforehand, your superiors used to keep information from you as well, and you never liked that. And you cozied up to a mechanicus, a younger mechanicus, and you made him laugh. He told you a couple of tricks, and you remember these tricks very well. As you go up to the cognate unit, you know that there's a way to get. You haven't
I like
got
the
you
idea that
haven't
instead
got
of me-
it unlocked completely. You've got it up to. You've probably got it.
That's a critical success. Cough, cough. Just saying.
It's not.
Fu-
It's not a
one,
critical success.
One's critical. You're in the you're in 5%. You've done really well. I can't remember what the colours are for levels in 40k now, but you've gone up to. You're not on
This is
planetary.
clearance levels.
You're not on planetary governor levels. Let's put it that way. But you were pretty high up there. What
Also,
information do you want? Oh, sorry. So you look at the Cognite unit, and you know for a fact, because your Mechanicus friend told you, that if you reach your hand all the way to as far back as you can get it, there's a button. And if you push that button, it resets it.
I like the idea that I have a bet that if we debate about something and I win, then he tells me a trick.
So you
Awesome.
reset the Cognite unit, and you are given high level access. What did you want to know?
Actually,
How many hours do you reckon I could have on here? Do you reckon I could spend
It's taken you an hour to get here. It has probably taken Miss Alexa about 2.5 to 3 hours to do what she was doing. With travelling to the location, travelling back, the time she walked around and things like that.
Yeah, but is there a time limit? Like, you can only spend 2 hours in here, or could I literally just spend like a full 2 days straight just staring at this screen?
I didn't know that hacking was security. However,
It's a weird
it's-
technicality thing.
It's still a 0.5. He's still actually got an almost 50% chance of. He can't repair mechanical stuff, but he knows his way around. The Mechanicus cheat codes, if you will.
I was gonna say he could still use tech use for repairing, just wouldn't be as good as Mechanicus, because Mechanicus actually have Mechanicus laws that help with repairing, but tech it's a weird one because technically security covers all forms of breaking security. However, you could use tech use to get around technological security, because you just use the technology to reset it in the time instead of removing it.
I guess.
It's a really annoying thing because they changed security with
I
the
heard
additions.
it's really annoying, and then Discord decided to spike. So
Yeah, effectively, security got changed into second edition, where it no longer gets used to break just mechanical locks, because nobody uses mechanical locks in 40k these days.
technically, they're still a thing on a more primitive world.
Yeah, but you don't go to a primitive world 9 times out of 10, because it lowers what the GM can do with you.
Not necessarily.
Well, no, it depends on who you're going up against. A gang boss is going to be more likely to have mechanical locks on his shit, and less likely to have mechanical locks because he doesn't have access to a tech priest. It depends on which run of society you're looking at. I'm going to allow the tech use to be allowed for him to be able to technologically reset the Cognite unit, and he hasn't got full access to planetary governor levels, so I will allow it. How many hours you can spend here is kind of up to you. I mean, obviously, if you're here for an entire day, then someone might come in and ask, what the hell are you doing that takes an entire day? If you're here for a few hours, that can be, combing through information. That's not so. So what are you trying to do here?
I out of character, guys. What do you reckon I should be searching for? I didn't think this far through.
Oh god.
Yay
thought about
for
everything else.
improvising.
Thought
Well,
about everything else.
I'm just thinking things you could look up. Maybe if it be on the cogitators about the arrests, or because there'd be drops in population performance and food requirements in those areas, which would correlate to arrests. Oddly enough,
So,
I'm just giving it a lot of thought because at the same time, it'd also be like signs of where the gang might be because we know the gang exists.
essentially, I want to record on my own data slate where all gang activities have been open and 100% sure, not possibly sure, as well as any unchecked sort of shipments. And I'd also just sort of be looking through to see if there's anything like other bits of information I might need.
So as you look at like shipment data, you could spend weeks, possibly months, just going through the shipment data, trying to look for irregularities. Especially where you don't really have anything to go on. It sounds very much like you're grasping at straws, and with a subject like shipping data, that's just too larger of a thing to grasp at straws at.
Can I just give a quick suggestion so that Duke might be able to actually do a better search? Because he could do
Sure.
irregularities in the power grid or in like supply deployments, because those don't take a lot to deploy to look at. Because it'd be like for some reason these people requested more, and it'd be like general sudden extra request, sudden reduction, and you wouldn't need lots and lots of intel to look into that. In fact, that could take you 20 minutes unless you're going, okay, this individual sub one, this individual one, and the exact numbers. Just this one went up, this one went down, this one went stupidly up for some reason, and this one plummeted into the ground for like 5 people. It just means he actually has something to look at.
What he said.
So you can see from the data that there are definitely areas where workforce numbers have decreased slightly. The only type of big power fluctuation that you can see through the data would be it'd be on the same date. Well, I suppose you don't know about that date. It's the same date when everyone else has heard about seismic activity, and then actually, Jenny found out that it was explosives used to repair the explosive damage. You'd probably be able to get that information. You'd probably be able to get the information that the Mechanicus requisitioned far more plasteel concrete and heavy duty welding materials and other exotic materials that the GM can't think of right now to actually repair certain parts.
Gold.
And again, you would see that would probably have been about, I can't remember when I said this all kicked off. I think it was like a couple of months ago on this world. Possibly it's a very good conductor.
Notes made.
Gold is a very good conductor.
But as for like arrests and the like, it's very much they haven't got names, they haven't got, it's more like this many people were involved, this many people were executed. It doesn't seem as if this world is as authoritative.
Authoritarian?
Authoritarian, thank you, as other imperial worlds. It definitely seems as if they're far more lenient in the respects that some of the rioters were essentially just seen as people who got caught up in the riot, rather than let's just execute everyone who was even there. They have put certain people back into the population, but you don't know who, you don't know names or the criminals that have been involved. If you try and look on criminal reports, again, it's about on par with the information that you got back on the ship, where low running criminals, the Arbites who are on this world, who have tried to look into and investigate and interrogate the captured actual criminals, like the drug dealers and the ones who had weapons on them. They were just dregs of society who looked like they were strung out, and we're talking like shanks and stub revolver kind of weaponry, poor chainmail, nothing. These are not hardened criminals. These are not it. All from the reports that you're reading now, it seems like it's just the dregs of society, kind of types of people who are involved in these riots. Very much. I guess they would probably have a demographic of where they think these people came from, and you can almost like put a circle, lower to mid hive, far more, in the lower districts. In the mid hive, we're talking the lowest section of the middle of the hive. They're the kind of people who have been getting involved in the rioting.
Notes made in character.
And then you're done?
Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to just come and kick me out, break my iPad. That is lit.
Okay, give me a scrutiny. You can't do a scrutiny intelligence, can you? In this,
No, but you can do awareness intelligence.
I mean, technically, he can do whatever you say he can do. It's just
Yeah.
do a
he would have to manually apply the bonus.
Yeah, do what Jazina said for a scrutiny intelligence. This is kind
Give
of
yourself, to make it easier, roll awareness intelligence, but give yourself how many pitch you have in scrutiny.
I ain't got nothing.
So minus 20.
I fail.
Okay, so it takes you. Pretty much your entire engagement, getting to the place, which was an hour, doing all your investigation, your bullshit to get in here. You've been there for about 4 hours in total.
Meanwhile, with Alexa. So where's Diogenes?
Oh, Diogenes, he is somewhere. Not here.
You let him wander off.
I was supposed to keep him on the leash.
You have noticed that without someone watching him, he does walk into walls, right?
The walls are sturdy enough to withstand such a curious intellect.
I'm more worried about him walking off the edge of the hive.
I am sure that someone would stop him. Maybe.
I'm probably
Perhaps.
sure he is a keener mind than you guys give him credit for.
Oh, well, even if he walks off the edge of the hive, I am pretty sure we can bring him back into working order.
By the
Well,
way,
Honestly.
this, can I walk in
Replace
and just shout
stupid idiot's
knowledge?
mind with the robotics part. Sounds good.
Can you walk in and say what?
Expensive.
Slam the door open and just shout knowledge, and then just look at my data slate and go and sit down.
You can. It's going to be another hour for you to walk back from where you were. Yeah, you can when you get back.
I'd
Could I
probably
have
say
gotten,
more in character. I'd probably be like, I have proclaimed the knowledge I seeked, and then just go to my and go eat, and then go to my room.
also, with the whole thing where where like Diogenes, I just kind of go, if you really want to know how smart he is, ask to read his book. I'm sure he'd love to tell you about it.
So 5 hours from, let's say, 8 o'clock. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So as Diogenes comes back to the tavern, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Given that you got up at around 8, that's reasonable enough. Did anyone else want to do anything before he came back, or are you happy?
Yeah, I would have liked to find out the location of
Hello?
Vault 23.
Don't you have the location now?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay, I already have that. I would have tried to make my way over there this entire time then.
Okay, so you get up in the morning, have your weird recaf and blood, and
Yeah.
you make your way.
Blazing it.
You make your way out of the building. After you had your conversation with Tech Priest and with Amanda, you have the location, so you could make your way there. I would probably say you would know that this location is in the Underhive, just to make that clear before you set off. Do you want to go there on your own?
I ask if anyone wants to come, but I also know that they probably would attract suspicion, so I do tell them to wear a cloak or something.
By all means, you can go outside and spend 10 crown on a disguise if you want to buy just a cloak that covers you up. You'll be suspicious-ish looking. You're in the Underhive, so there's a lot of suspicious individuals.
I would volunteer for that field trip.
Okay. If you want to come with me.
Yes.
Sure. In that case, I will not go stealthing through the entire Underhive up to that location. I will instead actually attempt to look fairly intimidating, with my weapons openly out on my back, my pistol clearly on my hip. I will kill you. That's sort of possible.
Okay. Are you going to be buying disguises as for when you walk down?
I will not, because this is sort of like my look is sort of that of a my look already says don't mess with me, I will kill you, so
Sure. Amanda, will you be going with the others?
I will be going with the others.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I'm good for is combat and protecting people, so I'm mostly just sitting around and making sure people don't get shot.
Would
yeah,
you
I
be
could
buying a
yeah.
disguise?
I did have the robes from the
No.
previous round.
So
I'll just...
anything you requisition from Walter gets returned to him at the end of the mission. If you want to...
Okay, then I'll get some robes for myself then.
Okay, so that would be 10... basically, it'll be 10 crowns if any of you want to cover up what you're wearing, hide your heraldry, and try and make yourselves blend in more. And obviously, if you're wearing your armor underneath, you're always going to be bulky and stand out more.
I mean, body gloves, not really.
Well, no, but if you've got Imperial Guard flak armor and you're putting a cloak on, you still
I'm
pop
one
out.
owner
You
has
know,
Imperial
it's
Flag armor. I don't know how bulky the light carapace is, but I'm wearing light
Very.
carapace now,
It's
remember?
very
yeah,
bulky.
it's look at the
And if it's still
It's still bulky,
my
then sorry.
carapace, that's literally an Arbaides carapace.
people like
Ah.
look at images from, and it's bulky. All the armor in 40k is bulky. I will give it, the body glove is probably the only armor I've seen that is like sleek.
It's like the body glove and technically the flak coats, but that's because they're coats.
Yeah, flag coats and cloaks are pretty much indistinguishable. Like, they're mundane.
I need to ask, can I get how is Jenny going to disguise herself? Because I could get red robes
Going to
and
disguise
somehow
herself
just
as a tech
No,
priest.
so
no,
for you
as
to
a
get
tech priest
for you
god,
to
I
get
forgot the name of it.
plain normal bog standard gear is 10 crowns. For you to get like clothes with color, with actual dyes in them, you're talking more crowns than what you have. You know, you'll wear it if you buy anything where you are for your price limit. Bland greys, you know, dirt colors, you know.
'Cause
Lucky
I
if
don't
you can
think
find
my
some stuff with green in, because you are on.
I mean, they could always ruin our subtlety by requisitioning shit.
Well,
I
you can't
mean,
requisition anything because you're not on
I think
requisition
I think
time.
I'll just get a plain robe then and throw on top of myself and hope if people do notice they don't really care too much. It's gonna be obvious either way because I'm a tall woman wearing far too much armor.
So what you've basically
Also
got
a shield and a sword.
what you've basically got is a you go out and you buy a very very large cloak, and it's, think of like what movie would it be from? Like ninja movies, samurai movies, where they've got a cloak that completely covers their body. So you can't see what weapons you're carrying. You can see that you've got weapons. They're bulky. You can see that they're wearing armor. They're bulky, you know. But
Yep.
you can't tell what type it is. You can't see heraldry. You can't see. But obviously, if that comes off, you are wearing, you know.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. So yeah, I'll just get that because there's no way for me to actually hide myself. Come on. Like
You could take your
it's like
armor
if a
off.
tech priest
Yes,
fully
you
wear
can take
red
your
hide.
armor off. Spoiler alert, it's not
I'm
glued
not
to
gonna
you.
take my armor off.
Why
That's
not?
a symbol.
Bentham did it loads of times and he survived.
Someone is insecure.
No,
Okay.
it's just that it's a symbol of my standing in the army.
No, it's not.
It's a symbol you're standing in the Arbaites.
Yes.
Not anymore. I painted over it.
Did you remove all the heraldry though?
Yeah, I would have removed everything for RP reasons.
You know, that's
I'm
it
almost
still
tempted to say
looks
that's an.
like
I'm
a
almost tempted to
RBD
say that's an
issue.
armorer role. I'm almost
I
tempted
was just
to
gonna say
say
that,
that.
True,
like,
true.
No, I
considering
won't.
this is-
I won't.
it'd be more along the lines of
Not this
replacing.
time anyway.
I'll be replacing with the stuff for my flak armor, mostly the filigrees of my unit and stuff like that. And I did say I would paint my
Be
armor
less
black
conspicuous. If
because my
any
unit
commissar fucking sees that, you're getting smited. You're getting blammed.
not really.
So, we have Ghost, Jenny, and Amanda. Only Amanda is covering herself and her weapons and her armor as you make your way to the Underhive, to roughly where the vault where the vault should be, down towards the secondary water purifier. You are aided in the fact that you have a Mechanicus with you. I was going to say it would take you 2.5 hours to walk there. Using your Mechanicus friend very much as a sat nav, she guides you through some Mechanicus maintenance tunnels, and you don't really see anyone down there. The tunnels are very dark, but you make your way down, and you're able to get to the lower hive in an hour and 45 minutes. You were met with, as you leave the Mechanicus tunnels, you are inside the underhive. You haven't actually come through, you've bypassed like the checkpoints where guards do watch to see who is coming and going. You've bypassed that and you are in the underhive. As you leave the Mechanicus tunnels, tunnels that smell very much of oil and grease and that kind of electrical burning smell, you walk out and just the smell of just sewage, sweat, unwashed bodies and just rank just hits your nostrils. Your eyes begin to water a little bit as you quickly adjust, and after blinking a few times the stinging does stop, and as you look around you just see haggard and run down individuals, poorly nourished and just actually grasping on to the edge of humanity and what any human can rightfully, withstand.
Smells like home.
You have a fight
Smells
back
like
home.
excrement that something died in and rotted.
Yes. This reminds me so much of home. It almost gives me the urge to just kill one of these nobodies around here.
You have a
Can
weird
I?
home.
No. That
Alright,
would
I
be
will not.
unnecessary.
True. But fun. Anyways, let's go to a location.
As you walk deeper into the hive, Jenny, you look back over your shoulder at the Mechanicus tunnels, longing for the smell of oil and the sounds of pistons. And as you go deeper and deeper, the floor actually becomes like the smooth plasteel concrete disappears under a layer of dirt and sludge, and there are definitely puddles of what you can only presume is just human waste. You go deeper and further in.
This inefficiency pains me.
As you walk deeper in, sure, we'll just do a... Ooh. Nothing happens. You walk through and you see a few individuals. Well, actually, no, you can have this. I would imagine that Ghost and Amanda are definitely, on point, looking round, scanning the crowds as you make your way down, further into the underhive. You can see from some ruined buildings and from some like shacks and groups kind of gathering and a person looking out, but they very quickly fall back in and decide that you are not a target that is worthwhile jumping. As Jenny informs you that you can carry on the way that you're going and you will come to the water purification plant this far into the underhive. You would know that this is an area that the Mechanicus again protect. You wouldn't be able to access, well, no, Jenny would be able to access it with guards, but you know, Jenny, that the way to the vault is now in the opposite direction. You have to go almost around in a circular path to get to where the location on the map is.
If around need we go, then around we shall go. That was a weird sentence.
You notice that there are far less people congregated here. The other two probably might think this is a bit strange. You, Jenny,
The other two probably...
would see this as being a bit strange. But you, Jenny, know that they're keeping clear because of the Mechanicus. They probably know what happens when the scum begins to begins to gather near Mechanicus-owned technologies.
It probably there's also the fact that I am visibly packing. Like, I made no effort to conceal my last lock. I'm a Mechanicus. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Got it?
I don't think you could conceal that damn thing.
Why? It's not like it's super long or something.
I generally class basic weapons as like a meter in length.
You generally class base.
Basic weapons as like a meter long.
Discord, what the fuck are you doing tonight?
Basic weapons are rifles. They are long. Unless you get it made compact, you can't hide it easily, with air quotes. It's not a thing that's done. If you have the compact mod, obviously it's been made smaller, so it is easier to conceal. But otherwise,
I don't think you can fit compact on basic weapons.
Yeah, basic ranged weapons are how the compact. I mean, technically, you can get a sword with the compact mod, and it becomes like a gladius, a short sword.
Any pistol or pretty much any type of basic class weapon except for melter. And for melter, it's because you can't shrink a melter weapon without making it dangerous.
Where it's already technically been shrunk once, because you're
No,
starting.
you can put compact on basic, yeah.
Everything, unless it's the melter gun, in which case it's like you've made it small. Now you can't make it smaller without compromising the reactor thing that you fire.
So you make your way along towards where the pathway to the vault should be. You are very quickly stopped by a large amount of plasteel concrete that has caved in to the path that leads you to the vault.
This is... Why has the maintenance been abandoned? Such inefficiency.
Would all three characters like to give me a awareness perception roll, please?
Here comes the fail.
Me too?
Yep, you're down.
Oh,
now.
for fuck's sake!
Ghost, you can roll me an intelligence with probably a plus 20. It's not been long since you were last told this.
Shit, I don't have navigate.
What? Is this about the Aquila on the door?
Very good. You begin to think, after you look around and it's dark and it's dingy down here, you begin to think, and do you remember him telling you that you were meant to look for
423 underwater purification plant, Aquila on door.
So as the rest of the party looks around and in the darkness you begin to walk back up the corridor, looking for that Imperial Aquila. Where is... You get about 50 meters from where the cave-in is, and you see an Imperial Aquila on the wall. It's on a piece of ceramite sheeting. An Imperial Aquila has been sprayed on with what looks like dirt or some like oily substance. It doesn't look like paint.
Oily instead of paint. Sounds poor enough. Guys, I think I found location. This is under the water purification plant, right?
You've gone to where the water purification plant. There was a fork in the road. You've gone round the side of it, so you're in the right location.
Question: the data we got, does that indicate what was the purpose of these vaults?
In case the world was attacked. When the world was settled, this is a very old planet. The Hive world was, a long time ago, very technological and very advanced, but it's just as Imperial technology goes, it's got shit. The vaults were originally there to house the civilian population if there was ever an attack, to keep them safe. Now, obviously, the Imperium doesn't give two shits about Imperial citizens anymore, so this is a very old part of the Hive.
And they're being turned into social experiments.
Not quite.
Mechanicus tech. So do we proceed?
Do you investigate it?
I mean, I would. Like, this is
I mean,
kind
I'm
of...
just
you
waiting.
you can be proactive and go, oh, I want to look at the... otherwise it's like,
It
Like,
looks,
I just
it
don't
look-
want to run off on my own.
You're not
Yeah, I'm
Ghost.
waiting.
Ghost is stood there going, I have found this. This is entrance here. Is there a plane flying
Yeah.
over someone?
that sounded like a plane.
Who's living near an airport? Confess.
Who's in an airport?
Wait, you guys heard the plane?
Yes.
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 Sorry, I forgot to mute my mic.
Why would you nuke your mic, though? That seems excessive.
Mute,
I know.
not nuke.
But
You
nukes are so
people
much more
can't
fun.
appreciate a jock.
So you, Amanda and
Just-
Jenny, walk over to where Ghost is pointing. Jenny, you see a sheet of ceramite that is leant up against the wall with an Imperial Quilla kind of spray painted on, but it's clearly not paint. It's like dirt, grease and oil.
I'm gonna touch it. And press it, see if something happens.
It
You feel as if you're pushing something that's not quite level with the wall, and it kind of rocks a little bit.
just open the door.
I will open the door.
Okay. You put
Preferably with my Laslock in hands, because I'm not sure what's in there. I'm going in guns raised.
Okay. So
Do
you
not-
you notice that the ceramite is like lent, and you I'll give it to you. Your character's intelligent enough to be like, Amanda, other side. You either side of this sheet. You pick it up, move it to one side, and there appears to be a hole in the plasteel concrete that has been chiseled away.
I just walk through and I'm like, here.
As you walk through the hole, you walk across another, what did I call it, ceramite steel plate that is connecting. It's basically, there's an abyss. You look down and it almost just drops into nothing. But you walk onto a walkway that appears to be like some sort of maintenance hatch with a walkway, and like Jenny, as you walk through, you'd be quite intrigued by the different pipes and different, because they're not how the Mechanicus insulate pipes in the 40k. They're very old and you can see areas where like a substance has leaked, a gas, or there's like a crystalline substance growing on the walls, and it looks ancient, extremely old. But all the metal appears to not be rusted or corroded.
I don't like it. It has fallen into glowing mushrooms on the walls. This is truly a spooky place.
It's not glowing. It's like calcium, or it's like, over time when pipes build up a substance, a gas, or okay, possibly a fungus. It's not glowing though.
Yet.
Okay, not yet. You
We all know how it ends.
you look down this catwalk, and one end you can clearly see like something has happened, possibly during one of the explosions, or something's happened, and the catwalk is kind of bent and sheared, and many of the cords that hold it up have broken and are missing. As you look the other way, you can see that all the lines are all the steel lines that hold the catwalk up are all in place, and as you look down, you can see that it appears as if people have used this part, but as you look back, it definitely appears no one's been that way in a long time.
I just walk across the walkway until. I assume there's another door, or
You walk
actually,
along
what
the,
do I see?
You walk along the catwalk, and it's another 5-10 minute walk along this catwalk. It kind of sways a little as you walk along, putting your nerves on edge, but it all appears to be in decent nick. As you walk further, you do see a light towards the end of the catwalk, and it appears as if the catwalk actually, there seemed to have been a door there at one point, but there is no door there now. You are met by the light coming from a room. You will need to step into the room to actually be able to see what's in there. You only see like a blank wall from the outside.
Okay, I just walk in. Like, I just keep a very nonchalant walk. I just keep walking. I just walk straight in. Although I do make a gesture to Amanda and Jenny behind me to do not enter right after me. This could be gang territory. I walk through.
As you walk through, you hear a man who is positioned so that you can't see him, and he's got a little chair and is sat in a little kind of a little nook in this room. State your business, friend. What are you doing here?
I am looking for a man called Deadeye.
Oh, are you? What do you want with Deadeye?
I was told he could get me into contact with people able to afford my services.
Well, you're pretty well equipped, I'll give you that. He looks you up and down and can see all of your weapons and the fact that you're wearing a bodysuit, and yeah, you don't seem like a regular merc, but well, we have been pulling in a few of the higher class guys as of late. So you want to see Deadeye? Well, I would. I don't. The boss doesn't mind small arms on customers and potential colleagues or personnel, but you're going to have to leave your main weapons here. No basics, no basic melees. If you want to have a knife, that's fine. A chain blade, fair enough. An auto pistol, cool, fair play. You need to defend yourself, but some of your gear, nah, not happening.
Okay. I take my.
No,
the boys-
friend. No. He sees you like about to take something. Not here. You agree here, and he points behind you, and there's as you look behind, there's just a door, and just a completely plain. It's almost like a bit innocuous, this door, just like being in this room. You go through there, and they'll give you a locker. You keep your stuff safe, Sorry, you lock your stuff away and we keep it safe for you. I'm here in case you have a problem doing that. He kind of opens his chest. Sorry, he opens his chest. That'd be odd.
That's spooky.
He pulls back his jacket that he's got on, and you can see just a couple of tubes that appear to be strapped to his chest. You know, we don't fuck about here.
I'm gonna microbead ghosts and ask. So, what are we doing? Are we?
I have my microbeats on constant transmission, by the way, as this is going on,
Okay.
so they can hear everything that just been said.
So I'm just going to ask. So are we going in with you, or because I'm gonna be making problems about my weapon?
All right. I agree to meet your boss 1-to-1 alone.
Nah, mate, that's not how it works.
Right, I expected.
To
You may
be
have
honest, I don't
bodyguards.
even know if the boss is here. I know Deadeye's here, but the
All
boss...
right then, I shall talk to Deadeye. It's good. I was just testing your security. Just having a guy with explosive is perhaps not the best security, but it's okay. I shall go hand in my weapons.
Sure, not a problem. He basically just sits back down, you know, he just kind of leaves it at that, and you turn around and open the door, and you see it's almost like a nightclub, and as you open the door, you start to hear the sounds of a beat of music. You go up, and there's quite a ditzy blonde. She's very thin, very attractive, but you kind of get the impression there's not much in between her ears. Chewing on
Nor
something.
do I care for attractiveness. She just looks
She
easy to
blows
kill.
out a bubble with her some sort of chewing gum that blows bubbles. Bubble gum? Who knows?
Looks silly.
Hi there, darling. You locking your weapons away? Here you go. She hands you a key. That'll be for well, I'm sure you can read numbers. You can read numbers, right?
Yes.
Good. You lock it away in there, honey, and it'll be safe for you. No need to worry. It'll be fine. We don't keep spares, so don't lose it. You notice as you look along the lockers, some of them have clearly been pried open. You can make of that as you will.
I just look at it and I look back at the lady. If somebody attempts to take my stuff, describe them to me, and I will get it back.
Oh no, honey, they're for people who ran out. You know, the boss, or Deadeye, one of them. They leave without giving us the key. Like I said, we don't have another, so well, their stuff is ours, and we got to get it one way. So.
So I imagine myself and Amanda are just waiting outside the room with the doorman, quote unquote.
Kind of.
You're still standing in the walkway, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, because he never answered me.
No, the thing I said with the alone, that was I emphasized sort of slowly the alone part, hoping you would get it, but
Jenny
apparently
is not good on picking up that sort of cues.
Perhaps Amanda did, because they microbeat frequency.
No, she didn't.
Okay.
The mechanics are very direct.
Okay.
She's a soldier and she's just keeping an eye out on.
I go put my stuff in a locker then, and I whisper under my breath, in case you did not get message. Unless you will hand in your weapons and make yourself very obvious, do not enter. I put my weapons in the locker. Now, you mentioned this Deadeye fellow. Where can I find him?
Oh, Deadeye? Oh, he's in the main area, honey. Y'all see where Deadeye is. Or ask one of the boys in there. Yeah, ask one of the boys. They'll show you around. Don't you worry, honey.
The boys.
I'm just gonna show you the whole map, rather than doing it how I was gonna do it, which was room by room as you move through. So you don't know who's in there and who isn't. I can't be bothered.
Oh God, Pigface is here.
We'll have a
Nice.
bit of white showing. It doesn't matter.
Okay, where do I enter?
You enter here.
Damn, that looks like a sleazy cantina.
As you start to hear beats coming from it seems it's almost all around the music appears to be coming from. You can hear the sounds of people fighting and cheering and jeering off in this room here. As you look down this way to your right, you'll see, I'll say that you've stepped in, and you'll see that there's an individual who looks as if he's like a bouncer, or as you look into the room where they're fighting and
It's
people
the
are jeering,
Piggy
you
Man!
can definitely see a couple of people dressed in this similar. They are clearly bouncers or protectors. They're doing something shady, perhaps even drug dealers. You're not sure.
Okay. Okay. I walk in. I first go to where the sound of violence is coming from because that sounds interesting to me.
So you walk down and you peer into the room with the fighting and the cheering and people shouting, and you can see that there is indeed a pit fight going on where there appears to be a civilian and a person from a factory, or basically a factory worker. He's still wearing his overalls. They're slugging it out with fist to fist, and they both look kind of. They're not like high running members of society. They're quite skinny and quite short. You get an odd feeling, and you look over and you see an individual that you recognise from your dwelling, and it is indeed the pig-faced short man. And
I've never seen him before.
Are you sure?
I have never seen him before because
of
I
course,
was there
yes,
for
he
the
wasn't
left.
there.
Oh,
left.
true.
Wasn't
I was
there.
there for the Piggy Man.
You see an individual who is about 5'2", 5'3", a snout on his face, a pointy ears, squat. His face is quite squashed together as well. He appears to be dancing quite enthusiastically to the beat. His arms are pumping up and down and his legs are kind of jogging on the spot. You notice the people around him are all just, what was that? Where's that? And as you look, you can see that he appears to have a bottle of some sort of hooch, and he's just spraying it everywhere in his manic little dance and tripping out nonsense.
Okay. Okay, so I look down at the pit and I just like, okay, this is not where Deadeye is. And I heard that I was up in his spot, so I just look up to a spot that seems like, okay, that's what she could mean. And I start walking this way, like, this is probably the direction.
Yeah, you definitely see less punters in this area, and as you walk through that doorway, the bouncer type bloke, this individual definitely looks armed, and he stares at you. He doesn't say anything, but he stares at you as you walk through the threshold.
I just nod at him and I keep walking.
Sure. As you walk round the corner, the other individual down here, he makes eye contact with you as well, and no
He
further.
can't see my eyes because still my mask is on.
Well, he makes eye contact with you in that he's looking roughly where your eyes would be on your mask. You know, like 3/4 down. You know, if you've got a 10 head, that he's looking at your brow. But he looks at you and what are you looking for, friend?
Deadeye.
Parties. Oh, Deadeye. What's your business? Work or pleasure?
I was told he had contacts that could hire me.
True. So I'll take that as work then. Sure thing. Enter the room. He points to you, the room over here. Stand in the middle of the room and ask you questions.
Okay, I walk up to the middle of the room.
As you walk into the middle of the room, you notice that there are at least 5 individuals stood in different areas around the room. It's almost as if they were told not to congregate, to stay with space in between them. In front of you, as you walk in, you see an individual who is massive. There appears to be some sort of problem with his skin, or as you get closer, he looks less and less man and more like thing. As you get to the middle of the room and you stop. What the fuck does you want?
Are you Deadeye?
Yeah.
I was told you know people. I was told you know people with enough cash to hire me.
I might do. What of it?
Well, I was wondering if you could get me into contact with someone that could hire me. Perhaps your boss. You seem to be doing well.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're moving up. Well, Well, what justifies you? I can see you're wearing a fancy suit, and I'm guessing you had to leave all your big guns in the locker. So what makes you worth the crowns, the thrones?
Death is what makes me good. Death is what makes me worth my crowns.
You suddenly hear like all the men around you begin to laugh. Death. Yeah, alright, okay. Look, buddy, you've got your issues, fair enough. The boss is after more arms, more meat for the grinder, as it were. We got rid of the dregs. Couldn't have the weak here, could we now, boys? So you want work? You want to take our money? Is that right, boys? We're gonna let him take our money.
Well, if you need someone taken out discreetly, that can be done. It can also be as obvious as you want it to be.
Discreetly, you say? Now that is interesting. We don't do discreet. Not our style.
I can do messy. I have the chin sword.
The Arbites. How are you at killing Arbites?
With that, I take out the vial of blood. I have a little blood of one of them left.
Cheater!
He did not enjoy being ripped in half by chains.
That could be the blood of anyone. I don't.
True.
So you can kill Arbites.
Yes. If you do not believe I can kill someone, I saw you had a fighting pit. Is killing with bare hands legal in that pit?
They're dregs. It's where the customers can blow off some steam and bet some crowns to buy another hit. That's all. We used to have
killing with
fighting
that.
comps with the old dregs until the boss decided that we should get rid of them. Put them to use. They know nothing, so send them out to die. We're now looking for a higher caliber. If your way of impressing us is to fight in the pits, then you're a dreg. We're not looking for dregs. We're not looking for death.
You asked me.
We're looking for fighters, killers. Now, you said you could kill discreetly.
If
Like I
you
said.
want me to, yes.
We don't have anyone like that. Now, that's something that might interest the boss. So, like I said, can you kill Arbites? Because if you can, discreetly, making it not look like us, then by all means, we need to have another conversation with the boss involved. Now, obviously, don't go getting into your head to go doing nothing until the boss has spoken to you, or there'll be trouble. No one moves without the boss's say-so. But I can at least bring up the fort with it, to show that you are of some use.
Alright. Sounds good enough.
I tell you what. Come back tomorrow. About 9 o'clock. Things will be in full sway here, so we'll have some cover. You gather up what you think you'll need to take care of the job. And we'll have a discussion, shall we?
Sounds good, yes. Now, one more question about fighting pit. Is killing legal in that pit?
I don't care what you do in the pit. The civs around there might get a bit antsy about it. Like I said, they're fighting to pay for their next hit. If you want to beat up druggies, then just beat them up. You're not going to put up that much of a fight. Although I don't know if anyone will want to fight you. I mean, you've eaten today. Most of them fucking fools haven't. And again, all the men suddenly start laughing as they look over at this big brute, beginning to chuckle.
True. I have already eaten and drank today. Perhaps a kill would not be necessary. I shall be here then tomorrow.
And is this a solo man's operation? He kind of like kneels down a little bit and looks at you. And do you not have any friends, or is this you and you alone, or what should we prepare for? Or do you not have anyone? Are you a loner? Is that what you are?
I could bring in assistance if you want me to.
Little man, you are a loner, aren't you? Well, If you haven't got any friends, it's all right. We'll be your friends, won't we, lads? Again, all the men just start laughing their asses off.
Well, I am not sure how you would respond to the renegade tech priest walking in here. So,
What now? What did you say?
Magic words.
I said
Amanda just sees Jenny going like, oh no, he's not doing that, is he?
or perhaps a bit more of a brutal fighter.
Well,
I
we
have-
don't have many thinkers here. You know, he kind of raises his arm up and flexes his muscles, and he just shows his bulging bicep. We are men of action and strength. However, the boss has said we need more brains in the group. We need someone who can work some of these things and do that.
If you need brains, I have people for that too.
Hello?
I could bring him in tomorrow.
Fair enough. Bring this renegade tech priest. Bring. He kind of licks the corner of his mouth. Bring them here. The boss will be interested in that for sure. Yeah, that'll be. But same rules apply. Like the boss may want to see what you're equipped with, so he might bring it in for a demonstration, you know. But your weapons, you won't be allowed to carry them in yourselves. If you get my drift.
I understand. Although they
You
did
just
let
hear
me,
on the microbeat, I don't.
they did let me keep my pistol, so
What? He kind of looks a bit like shocked and that he didn't notice. Like, what? And it's not really even that well hidden, is it? He failed his perception.
it is literally on my belt outside my cape.
He
I
kind
just
of
point at it. It's
shuffles.
very I just pointed at very obviously being there the entire time.
It was hidden by your body, you fucking smart little fucking. Yeah, your weapons. Like I said, he likes looking at the shiny. He likes to know what he's paying for. So he might have some tables set up, you know, so they could be displayed. And he kind of makes a gesture.
Sounds good. Now then. I believe there are still a couple of individuals beating each other up outside here, so I shall go watch that, and I shall see you then again tomorrow.
Yeah. By all means, if you want something to indulge yourself with, there's the bar at the back.
As he said, indulge myself, I just, inside of my coat, flick a syringe around in my hand. I have my own stuff, and I put it back in.
He kind of gives a more respectful, like, yeah, fair enough, and he kind of is kind of done with the conversation, unless there's anything else you wanted to ask about.
I just nod my head and walk out the room again.
Sure.
I'm not gonna save you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go walk outside back into this part again. And I see there's nobody here, so I'm just now gonna microbeat again. Alright. I believe we have an audience with Gang Boss tomorrow. And the way he was talking, perhaps even our other friends. Although I do believe Soror has would tip him off that we are not friendly. Perhaps all of you, he could see through. Do you like this plan, or? That guy seems very interested in idea of rogue tech priest.
We're gonna have to chat about that later.
Everything to catch attention of our targets. Also, I must say, I also saw very disgusting sights. Dude, very small guy, looks like a pig. Listen, literally, his face looks like a pig, and he's throwing drink everywhere.
You will see. Actually, no. Jenny will see Amanda visibly shudder like this.
What's the matter?
Wait, what's a pig?
You remember that
Pig.
guy who was dancing in the bar?
No, I meant in character.
We're not there, are we?
So
Pig.
there, you, Diogenes, you may know it just from a snouted beast, or from a mutation. You can get mutations that lead to like.
They're not close enough, though.
Yeah, we're like several kilometers away, Duga.
I know, but would Ghost know?
I assume pigs are still known as pigs, but it's like pig rocks instead of just like it's a type of grox because everything is grox.
There are many creatures. There's actually a YouTuber who does all the animals in 40k.
Yup.
So
40k Furies.
that's the one.
Lord Inquisitor Remlays of Ordo Fioreticus.
Exactly. So you can go and check out his channel, and you can see a snouted 40k beast right there. There are other creatures that share that nose profile, so you may not know it as a pig, but yeah, you'd know it as something.
Plus, knowing humans, they probably took the ball somewhere, then accidentally crossbred it with like the super grox, and then it got left on an empty planet somewhere. In fact, there's probably a quarantine world that's just got like 50-foot pigs. They're all dead because their bones crushed them. But then occasionally one of them appears, and it turns out it's just a demon pig.
You're gonna find out that he was like born in a test tube, and he just grew too big for the test tube, and his nose got squashed up against the side.
So it's it's a clone of Farnsworth from Futurama.
Maybe.
He's too small to be like grown too big. Too small. And too fat.
It's like fish tanks. You know, you start off in a small fish tank, and then you get to a large and large one.
Yeah. Anyway, I hear them, like, I hear Jenny asking over microbeats to Amanda, what's the matter, and is something wrong? Is this someone you know?
Oh,
Is this someone you want dead?
I'm praying to the Almighty God Emperor that it's not the same. But if it is...
If you're willing to hand in your weapons, you can come in and check. I am not so sure that they will accept tech priest yet, but...
rather not.
I mean, I can give detailed description and you can say it.
No,
person.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You want me to kill this person just to be sure?
Mac.
Well, do you want me to kill this person just to be sure or not? You do not sound like you like this person.
I really don't. Just, no. Yeah. Just
So,
do what you have to do inside there and leave the pig there. Ugh.
Aw.
What's wrong with the pig-faced man?
Ugh.
Other than the fact that he is horribly mutated.
The fact that he... Yeah.
Just gonna say that character, you should remember him dancing and how, like, you guys were
I'm
staring.
not sure if I actually saw him.
'Cause
You were
remember,
there. I was not.
I think everyone else was there, and I failed an awareness to spot him.
Initially,
wasn't
but you
right
still
at the
saw
end.
him.
It was right at the end, though.
Yeah. Everyone saw him but me because I wasn't there.
He was looking straight at Amanda, shaking his weird ass belly at me and doing thrusting movements and saying that he wanted to.
You
climb
don't need to remind that particular thing.
Amanda has PTSD.
I remember being the one time my character swore.
Okay, I just I go take one last look at the fighting pit, see if they are beating each other up very violently. Yes or no?
It's not really violently. You would. It looks like two very malnourished men fighting at each other, and it looks like you missed the point when it was actually like enthusiastic. They're more now of hugging each other and just like you can see they're trying to punch, but it's coming in more like a slap. And there's people like shouting out, "Oh, one throne, I'll get one," and another, two thrones, and it seems like very low amounts of money. And as you look around, the civilians in here all seem to be very strung out. Some of them are kind of in a daze and kind of just like swaying to and fro, and they don't look particularly healthy.
Yeah. I just muttered to myself, I would have no... Killing everyone here would not be the issue. But yeah, probably that I would not like.
Am I with you inside, or?
You didn't hand over your stuff. I'm pretty sure you're still stood outside.
No, I didn't hand over my stuff.
You're still outside on the walkway. You're still out of sight of the dude that would otherwise tell you that your stuff would be confiscated. I would also clearly see you are a tech priest.
Yes, but you kind of, advertised me already. I don't know if I was invited or not. That's why I'm asking.
If you want to step through, sure, because I'm now coming out again.
Keep in mind that my Discord keeps cutting in and out.
Yeah, you've not been invited in.
I have not invited you in yet. I've told you're allowed in tomorrow. That much is secure.
Okay.
Would have kind of repeated it when, like, if you were meant to go in but didn't. Especially when you didn't respond to it.
I can't do anything about these problems tonight, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I'm just... The dudes they're not even beating each other up enough anymore, and I'm like, yeah. And I just ask, how long until you two are done?
They kind of look up at you, and like the one who's holding the hammer at the minute just cracks the other one round the head. Like he's only so that you can see they're two different people.
Okay, yeah.
He like cracks him, like punches him straight on the jaw, and you can see like matey's eyes kind of roll back into his head, and he falls on the floor. And matey's like, "Oh, I've won, give me my," and the guard. So this person here. Oh wow, move that way. There we go. This person here. You see him take out a little package out of his back pocket, and he chucks it down. And the guy who's got the hammer in his hand, he doesn't have a weapon, that one. He catches it, and he quickly like takes the substance and just like just this is like palm face it straight in and licking his chops, and it's gone. And you watch this for a minute. And you see him climb out, and by the time he's reached the top of the ladder and has got his foot out, you could already see him like swaying, and he's like, you don't know if it's because he's exhausted. You probably guess it's from the substance that he just greedily munched down. He's like swaying back and forth, and he kind of gets up, sits in the corner, and just kind of like zones out, just goes into not the fetal position, but his ass is on the ground, knees are up by his chest, he's hugging his knees, and he just seems his head just bobs with the music, and he just zones out.
Okay, I quickly over the micro pizza. If you guys want to leave now, that's okay. But, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. And maybe get a bit of the drug so you can analyze it. Maybe.
Give me an awareness check. Give me an awareness perception with a +40. I mean, you're stood in this area looking round. It's not. As you look around, you can tell that there's no one built in here like you. Like you're an individual who's healthy, who's got muscles, who's got. You look around and there's no one. Like the bouncers, maybe. Some of them look rather scrawny. The one back towards the room where Deadeye was in, on the outside, he looked like he could handle himself. Like fairly well defined muscles, but still not anywhere in like your.
No, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go up to the bouncer person. Like, could I ever go with the pit ring thingy?
Well, yeah, you can have a go, but he looks around like they're not gonna fight you. You know that, don't you? This is for like the dregs of society.
Alright, then. Yeah.
You could try, I guess.
I thought perhaps an easier way to get some of this substance for free by just beating someone up, but can I in that case just buy some?
Oh, you want some of the drug? I get you. Well, he looks you up and down and is, well, it's expensive, you know, unless you want...
I am going to be hired by Deadeye or perhaps his boss, so I do not care. I do not care that much about expenses at the moment.
Well, okay, I guess 5 thrones for a dose.
I have that right?
Yeah, I believe you all have 25.
Okay. So I just take it out of the pocket. Alright then.
Sure, I mean it's your funeral. I'll warn you. A lot of the dregs don't come back right, you know, after doing that. They come back for more, which is why the boss likes it so much, but...
Yeah. I was never right in the head anyway.
Fair enough.
I just, and I assume he hands me some?
Yep, he hands you, it's almost like a white pill. It's probably about half the size of your thumb. And you look at it and you kind of like move it around in its packaging, and although it's pill shaped, as you move it, it quickly breaks down into like a powdery substance.
Interesting. Alright then. I will be back here tomorrow anyway. I shall, if you're here, I'll tell you if it was,
If
the
you're
experience
able,
was
if you're able
interesting.
to, mate. Most people who do that just want more. Don't care about anything else. I mean, look at them. And he gestures to the individuals who are
Let's
definitely
see.
on drugs. They're out of it. Just don't know what's going on around them.
Very well. We'll see. And I just put the thing
Well,
in my pocket.
Emperor protect you whilst you're on it. You might need his help.
We'll see. And I put it in my pocket and I walk out.
Do you leave the club completely? Like, do you go out to the basically the cloakroom?
I go to the cloakroom. I open up the locker, take my weapons out, hand the key back to the lady, and I just walk out completely.
I hope things went well for you, honey. See you some other time. She kind of gives you a wave and a fake little kiss before getting back to doing her nails.
I've already just turned around a moment. Like, after I handed the key, I just turn around immediately. I don't even pay it any more attention.
Oh, I like the strong, silent types, honey. It's okay. See you another time. As you walk out, her voice kind of follows you, clinging to you like a bad smell.
And the microbit.
Yeah. Okay, I just I walk out again. I nod to the guy that's sitting at the front desk with explosives strapped to him,
He gives
and I
you a
just
nod.
walk out to the walkway. I walk up to the. All right. We have access to the gang boss tomorrow and a bit of the drug we've been looking for. A full sample. And I take it out of my pocket. I am sure that the authorities would be happy to have this.
I'm pretty sure our interrogator would be happy to have this.
It looks a bit like the white powder from the tech world. Pretty sure this might actually be the same stuff. I tried to get it for free, but nobody would fight me down there. Then again, I could have probably killed a couple with like 5 punches only, but in any case, Jenny, I trust you to have this. You seem like you could take care of it. And the boss would be very interested in meeting you tomorrow. Although I did say you were a rogue tech priest, so...
I did hear that.
Oh yeah, I had my carpet on the entire time. Good thing that I did not turn that off.
Wait, am I here for this conversation, by the way?
No,
or-
we're several kilometers away.
Oh, okay. I'll be right back then.
In any case, let us go back up to our friends. They said they wanted brains. Apparently Diogenes is smart somehow. He might come too. I do not know. We just perhaps would need to disguise us. That would give us away. And I just start walking back to the entrance of the walkway again.
They had that conversation right next to that door.
Okay, the good things are just 2 disguises.
Fair enough. So, you begin your long walk back up, away from the stench of the poor and the downtrodden. It takes you an hour and a half to walk back up to the Mechanicus maintenance hatches. Jenny, as you open that hatch and you smell in that oily electrical smell, you're just reminded of home, and you quickly rush in there and oh, Body Omnisire. It is quite refreshing compared to the smells of flesh. You make your way back to your lodgings. I will assume that by now, I believe I said they would be about, I think I said 5 hours, I can't quite remember, or Diogenes would be about 5 hours. Sure, by the magic of the warp gods, you arrive back at your lodgings shortly before Diogenes returns. And yeah, is there anything you will have the group discuss of what you've all found, and then we'll end the episode off there.
All right, we Alexa, Diogenes, we found something. Specifically, we found drug. We found club that sells drug, and we might have a way to get in contact with their leader. Found club that sells drug, and it will, however, Alexa, it will involve you not being in thorough task here, because that would give us club that sells
Give
drug,
me a moment.
and
And
it
then
will, however,
Start unfolding her Imperial Guard flag. Because I have the weight to be able to carry this, so I probably would have figured out some way to stash it, so it's not obviously flak, but could be carried. You know, like turning stuff into a
Okay.
bag, because it doesn't need to be. If it couldn't have been, I wouldn't have brought it, but I assumed I could. Because I have a lot of weight left available. I'd have even made it unwieldy and double the weight to make it possible to carry it.
looks better, much better.
And if what anyone says about it looking like filigree, it's meant to be that she got this as backstory to explain it doesn't have Sororitas on it. Because it was emergency deployment that never got returned.
Good, good. In any case, they said the organization needed people. One, capable of killing Arbites, and two, brain department. They need people capable of planning. So,
I mean, we killed someone capable of that killed an Arbites, so we count.
yes, we do. We
Wait,
most certainly
you
do.
did?
Yes. In fact, was a tech priest. Heretic tech priest, and we killed him. No. We did not kill him. We captured him. I am pretty sure Inquisitor has killed him by now. In any case. Also, Jenny, I handed it to you, so we have a complete drug sample. Costed me 5 thrones, but I assume Jenny will take it out now.
Yes.
Should we hand this to authorities or should we keep it to show to I mean, I could always buy some more tomorrow, but
Discreetly half the sample and use a discreet cutout to deliver it one half to the authorities, keep the other half to ourselves.
that can work too. After all, it's powder, so yes. I think we should do that. See, this is why we have ID person.
Alexa just kind of looks like, what? I'm idea person.
Any case, I believe this has been a productive day. We are, for those of you that want to come tomorrow to the meeting, do not be scared by Deadeye's apparel. He maybe looks a bit inhuman, but if you ever saw my face, you would also say that of me. So
What do you mean inhuman?
Skin, very large. Looks like maybe he had some. I do not know. I think it is something like fat grown muscles and perhaps a bit faulty ones. Also, he was not the only bad one. I am pretty sure, like, Amanda already mentioned, do you know any person, like, small, like, 5.3, and with snot face, and very fat, and possibly also very
Alexa
drunk?
shivers.
I take it you do know. He was down there as well, annoying people by spilling drinks on everyone while dancing. If he's there again tomorrow, or I see him outside of club, I could kill him if you want to.
You might notice that instead of like continuing to read, you might notice my character when you mention him, my character just like stares at his slate, but without his eyes moving left to right.
1,000-yard stare.
Just like, oh god.
Goddamn
This-
pig.
I take
I
it you
think
do
you
not
wanted
want
some.
to...
I think it wanted to mate. It's like you said with a hint of questioning with Amanda.
Well, if you consider it separate species that wants to mate with humans, I could have it go extinct. Fancy
Yeah.
terminology for killing him. I have
I'm not
not
a
killed
big fan of
someone for a
pork
very
anyway.
long time.
It's
Then again, I do
someone
not. I have not had need to kill someone for a very long time because you provide food for me and all, but
You're a cannibal?
Money.
Oh.
I look over just you can't see this behind my mask, but I was about to just open my mouth and say yes, and then I just they do not like that. Okay, I do not say that.
I don't say it as to be like, ugh, cannibal. I'm more just like, wait, you eat people?
Yeah, but then the moment Alexa just says no cash, and I'm like, okay, she would not like me telling me other people I on occasion have eaten other people. Okay, I will not say that.
She doesn't know, and even if you told her, she'd have to kill you.
Okay.
I'll probably just rattle off a fact about pigs and how they're an actual creature of their own instead of just a subspecies of human.
fucking pig.
Well, if you want, I could go back and kill him. He cannot be there forever, so.
He'll
Last
likely
time-
die when he angers someone.
He's mine and mine alone to kill.
If you wanted to kill him, you could have just waited outside the club and waited until he got outside.
No, I'm not
I don't think
gonna
he'll
go
make it
straight
outside.
after him, but
I'm pretty sure nobody dies inside the club unless they die wants them to.
Why do you think I don't think he'll make it outside?
The reason I think he will make it outside, Jedi does not have need to kill him. Everybody in that place was just drugged the hell up.
Ah,
In any case, if you guys want to come, you in disguise, but this disguise is good, shows you are a capable soldier. It's tomorrow at 9.
Can I not come without a disguise? Like,
You can come without disguise as long as you look smart.
also out of character, did you mention about them wanting smart people?
yes,
Yes,
he did.
I mentioned them wanting smart people while looking at you, but you were not paying attention. You were looking at your data slate.
Probably, yeah.
And the flak armor is well maintained, but battle worn.
Yeah, so if I show up in Ecclesiarchy, not Ecclesiarchy, a Ministerium, then they'll be a bit like, maybe he's smart.
Yes. The fact that I mentioned I was also bringing tech priest, I'm pretty sure they suspect that I am bringing what they assume to be corrupt officials.
That should make things easier.
Yes.
So
Also,
no, carry on.
also in just this one situation, everybody called the guy in charge of the club, or at least just that small subsection, they called him Deadeye, so I take it nicknames are not bad for this situation. Maybe I appreciate it if you call me Ghost for this once.
Wait, you have a real name?
Understood.
I have a real name. Do you wish to know my real name? After all, we have survived battle together. I feel I can trust you.
I'll just sort of
Enough.
shrug and look at you as if to be like, I don't actually care, but I'm not going to tell you this.
Alright then. You know. Any of you actually want to know Ghost's real name?
Goes back to data slate.
No, when we're in a place that's quieter and less exposed, even though we're in a private room, then maybe. But right now, you're still my friend Bobjet Glenn.
Wait, and then I look back up from my data slate. What should my nickname be?
Books.
Yes. We call you Books. We call me Ghost. I do not know what we call tech priest. Techie, maybe? You can come up with your own nicknames as long as you tell me before tomorrow.
I like when Alex says book, she's just staring at the orc book.
It's not on planet with me.
Oh, it's not on planet. I thought it was, or where the book would be.
Oh, like the strap that I had for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd catch on then and be like,
Okay, yeah, that was all I was going to say then.
So as the party rejoins and shares the information that they have all gathered, they have the clues and they know where they're heading now, with part of the drug in their possession. Half of their mission has been completed, but the next part may not be so easy. So everyone, that will be the end of our episode here tonight. I hope to see you all again next time. So take care everyone, and bye bye for now.
I